I'm not trying to be flippant about, hey, everything's going to change and it's all going to be perfect. But I will say this, the change and just a dynamic world is the one that we live in. And what I have found is when I'm feeling that moment of like, oh gosh, everything's changing. Am I still relevant? What I have found is when I can focus on something I'm excited to do, as opposed to sort of feed the fear, things get easier. And I get more excited and I get more energy. And then when I'm in that frame of mind, something really incredible happens, which is I start to get more excited about the future. Woo! Hey, I'm Gina Bianchini, and this is People Magic, where I show you the easiest way to create a $1 million community and build a business you can be proud of. Let's dive in.
Hi, Gina. I'm a community manager for an online community for a living, and I'm pretty scared my job will be obsolete with AI. In your opinion, is there room for both?
So this is a great question. Here's what I would say. You are a human being, and human beings are never going to become obsolete. What we do as human beings and where we invest our time, our energy, our creativity, that's going to change and it's going to evolve. Even just the word community manager, going back a decade or 2 decades, it's really meant the person that's doing a lot of the manual tasks that we had to do because there was no software to do them. So this might be, making sure that people get put in the right places and their questions get answered. And maybe if you even had time, maybe introduce people to each other a little bit. But even that can get exhausting. Also, making sure that you had to deal with trolls and spam and moderation, that the tools for moderation were not particularly helpful or effective. So what's going to happen, by the way, I think this is good news for you, is that a lot of that manual effort, I'll even go as far as to say those menial tasks, those are going to become obsolete. They are going to be done with software, not human beings. And what that is going to mean is if you are drawn to community because you love people, because you love helping people connect and get results and transformation that they can't get on their own, that you love to help people, you love to organize events, you love to live stream, you love to be a part of conversations that you can help facilitate and facilitate in ways that deepen connections between your members. All of those things, they are simply going to get easier. And in getting easier, it's going to allow you to have a bigger impact. Community software is going to start to be able to do things in terms of organizing members, connecting them, introducing them, dynamically organizing and setting up meetups even. This ability for the software to play the role of amazing co-host to you as a community manager, such that it knows 25 members are in Mountain View, California, or, within a 25-mile radius of Mountain View, California, and that it can go about organizing a meetup for those 25 people 2 weeks from now on a Thursday night at a beer garden, because it knows it has data and it has natural language. That is stuff that today a community manager like you may give up on because it's just so hard to figure out who they are. Is anybody going to show up? How many notifications do I have to send? The software is going to actually get good enough to know how many notifications, what's the optimal number of notifications, when to send them, to whom to send them to. So as it's doing all of those things, you now are freed up to think about, okay, well, what and how do we want to tackle really interesting monthly themes? Or how do we put on our first in-person event and do so profitably? How could we potentially create small groups of customers in our customer community that are really similar and really motivated to meet each other? These are entrepreneurs or these are engineering managers who are at the same point in their career. So you could essentially imagine, what is the programming for first-time engineering managers as opposed to engineering managers who are leveling up to engineering directors? And you can apply this in all sorts of different ways. Once we get past the kind of the thing you already know, which is manual effort on things that software can do better than a human being, those things are going away. There's excitement, and there is energy around the fact that you are going to get to do much more creative things, much more human things, because there's just going to be more time for humans and people and the ability to connect in new and interesting ways that unlock results in transformation people can't get on their own. That is the reason we are in this work. It's not just to create engagement. It's not just to create contributions or time spent. It is to help people achieve something that they cannot get on their own. And in doing that, we are helping people have the careers that they want to have, organize their life around health and wellness and relationships in ways that are nearly impossible to do without a community there to help you build new practices or change habits. And ultimately, live the life that we want to live. And I think that's really exciting. It's why we've created what we call people magic, to lean into software, to really be able to do things that software, especially, yes, AI can do better than human beings. And if we do this right, it means we all have more time for humanity, for the things that make us uniquely human beings. And people with hearts and minds and creativity and opportunities for joy and innovation and all of the things that sometimes feel like, well, if tomorrow all these things I don't have to do, or I get through them faster, or somebody else can help me, then I'll have time for X, Y, or Z. That moment is now for all of us. And I think that the more that any of us, as community managers, as entrepreneurs, as course creators, as organizers and, community designers, the more that we are able to embrace what software can do faster, it means, number one, we're going to get that time back to be able to do more things at a higher scale with less work, have more of an impact with less work. And to me, that feels pretty darn exciting. And I hope it feels exciting for you as well. While I think it's really important to embrace change, I also am a total creature of habit. I do not like when anything in my house changes. I do not like if somebody shows up and interrupts my day in a way that's unexpected. Both of those things happened to me today. I'm not trying to be flippant about, hey, everything's going to change and it's all going to be perfect. But I will say this, the change and just a dynamic world is the one that we live in. And what I have found is when I'm feeling that moment of like, oh gosh, everything's changing, am I still relevant? What I have found is when I can focus on something I'm excited to do, as opposed to sort of feed the fear, things get easier. And I get more excited and I get more energy. And then when I'm in that frame of mind, something really incredible happens, which is I start to get more excited about the future. I'd love to encourage or, bordering on inspiring you to think about, which is when you come from a place of fear, when you come from a place of like just trying to hold on, it doesn't work as well as if you take care of yourself, have your favorite drink, get enough sleep, do something fun, and then look at change through that lens, as opposed to coming from a place of fear. Never seen it help. I'm Gina Bianchini. This is People Magic, and I will see you next time. Thank you for being a part of People Magic. If you want more of a deep dive in any of these topics, but certainly having the framework of People Magic Profit, head on over to the website. The link is in the show notes. Have your own burning question about creating People Magic? Well, I want to answer it. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to just drop your question in the review section wherever you're listening to this podcast and keep tuning in.